Hello everyone, welcome to the Rage Traders NRL Supercoach YouTube video, and today we're going to be doing a round 5 recap. Also, we have some questions to answer from the people and of course a run through of my team, what I'm going to be looking or thinking at doing this week. And by golly gosh, was it a wild week. Some teams that we didn't expect to win actually come through and blast the doors open and say, hold up, we still can beat teams. And with my team, bloody hell, I did not expect this. I go up 153 ranks to now be sitting at 645 in the overall rank status. I actually shocked me here. My round score was under par. I think 7,861. It was like a kind of like a survival week for me. I just did a little bit of wrong things here and there. I didn't do Gutho captain, and we'll get into that shortly. But boy, oh boy, am I happy still that I just scraped in. I'm still gaining ranks. I think a lot of people from behind are going to be catching up. That's what you want to watch out for. And at the moment, the score 1, 2, 3, 4. It is what it is. Sometimes we're going to have bad points and scores in a week, and sometimes we're just going to absolutely kill it. And for me, this kind of felt under par. And then going to my actual team and what I did, because this is also really important to know. I think one thing when I was looking back on it, I'm like, I maybe should have just played Smith over Mam, considering that I think Roosters were favourites this game. He's the kicker. He kicks in the game as well. Maybe Mam was just a bit overhyped for points because of his last two. That's something I looked at and thought, maybe I should have just done that the other way. But in hindsight, like I just always say I go with my gut, and that's what you should be doing in fantasy for most of the times, because you learn from that. And then once you sort of you train what to be looking out for in fantasy and how your like instinct works, that's when you become better. You can't just continue following people and what everyone else does, because then you'll never do well in fantasy. Besides obviously getting the must-haves in, like the Haas, Tino, all that type of stuff. So that's understandable. So yeah, Mam start, Haas May was in. A lot of people captained Haas. I was kind of surprised with this, to be honest with you. If you had Cleary and Gutho in your team, I just thought they were much better picks, especially with who they were up against. And I've got Tino, Watson, Horsburgh. I had Katoa as well, which was huge. Nicholson, who I didn't have as a reserve, which is huge, but still a great. Like this guy's break even of 5, looking absolutely amazing. I'm not sure when Hosking is back. Maybe he's back this week or close, so watch out for that. Now, one thing I did do, which I was really irate about, I always liked the thought of Munster. I just didn't think that Melbourne were going to destroy Manly at Manly's home this week. I just expected much different. I thought it was going to be like a 20-12 type game. And what I did was I traded out Dewey. I traded out Metcalf. I brought Dewey up to the 5/8. And then I traded, brought Jenkins in to cover that CTW spot. And then I traded out Dewey to bring in Campbell. And I was tossing up, whether to even do this trade and just hold Galvin and Dewey. But as soon as I heard that Dewey wasn't kicking, I kind of just went, you know what? I don't see much more from Dewey, to be honest with you. I'm just going to pull the plug on Campbell, and I'm going to follow the crowd on this one with basically everyone. I think it was 14,000 trades happened for Campbell. So if that does perform badly, I'm just kind of sticking with the group. And through the top 1%, I think a lot of people would have done this. And look, I think it was 29, and then he updated to 52. Don't understand how that happened, but it did. I'm really just over Hines at the moment. 762,000 with the break even of 127. Even though they have a really good draw coming up, I'm close to just pulling the plug and going Hughes. I just don't like what I'm seeing from Hines. He doesn't touch the ball enough. He's not the centerpiece. It feels like Trindle is the centerpiece, and I think we just all know that. And it's just getting a bit annoying. Garrick Arthur's Tamale. I played Tamale over Purdue, and then I had Shibasaki because I thought West Tigers were going to lose. I literally thought, I said it, Broncos are going to go 40 plus this game. Shibasaki only getting 33. It just is what it is. Sometimes the ball finds you, sometimes it doesn't. They always go to the left, and I think they score 44 points. For him to end on 33 and Arthur's even to end on 60 is pretty annoying. But my big saver of the week and what really propelled me just to stay balanced was Iongi Reserve. And I did feel like this was going to be a pretty high scoring contest because St. George, although they're good, I feel like the rain last week is the reason why Melbourne struggled to score against them as well. And St. George, by definition, have never really been high on defense. And Gutho with the 130. Geez, if you captained him, well done. He's still in my team. And then I have Ponga with the miserable 35. Do you hold on, Ponga? We'll get into that a bit later. Let's go into the recap. And you know me, I don't like, sitting here for 50 minutes talking about games that we already might have seen or we just know the scores on, but I want to give you some little ideas of what I'm thinking. And let's start with the Raiders and Sharks. Raiders going up 24-20, a massive win. Sharks kind of, you just expected a bit more from the Sharks here, I'd say. And I'm just going to move the camera here for you guys so we don't get annoyed by that. But yeah, Hudson Young, 110, 2 tries. Really interesting pick here. It seems like he's turned up a notch, Hudson Young. I think his base is increased. If he wasn't playing Origin, I'd pretty much be saying that a lot of people would be looking at getting him. Are you worried about Origin? Yes and no. The fact that our 2 RFs at the moment are already stacked, can you make a play there? Yes, I think you can only make a play if you're having issues. For me, with my team, I just can't trade anyone out for him. The only thing I really could do is go get rid of Mam. He's done his time. Swing Watson up and get another 2 RF in, which is a play that I'm thinking about doing. Tapani, I always get his last name wrong. But he had 91. Very nice. The problem is, you can't sideways trade this. I have Gurno and Valepu in my reserves, so that's something I could look at doing, but I think you just prefer going AFB over Joseph, just because AFB feels a bit more consistent and the Sharks draw coming up is a lot more friendlier and really strong for someone like AFB who can crash over the line. Horsburgh gets you 65. Tamale, who I expected a tiny bit more from, but just gets the line. I think he got a line break that just helped him just get to the 54, so just scraped in because it was looking bad. The one thing I wanted to talk about is just Sharks as a Supercoach team. They're just really weird. Nikra just gets 87 with 2 tries. It's just highly weird. You expect him to go 100 plus. The only one you're really looking out for is AFB here. Even then, I don't think it's like a must have. But they're just really weird in Supercoach terms at the moment. Nothing else to really talk about. Trindle with a 17, which is just wild in a 20-point game. You expect him to do a bit more. Are you holding on to Hines? I mean, it's just a risk play. It's going to be a sideways trade. If you do it, you're going into most probably Hughes, who is coming into a very nice draw for the Storm. The problem is there are some injuries around with the Storm at the moment, so just watch out for that. But yeah, I wouldn't really talk about much else. Sebastian Chris, to be honest with you, just flying under the radar. If you've had him since day dot, he's just doing absolute work for you. And Starling, 51. Don't think you have to move Starling. He's just getting you the numbers. Be very happy with it. And if he gets a bit of a stinky score, or they come into a very hard draw, that's when you might look at moving him. But for now, I wouldn't touch Starling. Just leave him, plug him, and let him play. Panthers versus my Cowboys. Oh my God. I don't know how we won this one. We were a better team. Thank you so much, McLean. Thank you so much for not passing the ball. You are a legend. I think you might have had a bet on the Cowboys somewhere on the side because I love to see it. Yeah, with an 85, which is great to see if you held him. Cleary, my captain, got updated to 94, which is amazing. Top scores. And can I just tell you, if you captained Cleary and you're upset about it because of the Gutho situation, Penrith did everything they could this game to make Cleary have a low score. The amount of inside the 10 meters of the opponents, they dropped balls, knock-ons, just making errors at the wrong time. It was just Cleary was like literally being disabled from getting more points. For him to get a 94 and something like this is really, really good. So don't stress about that. Still a good captain pick, no stress. Jenkins, if you don't have him, I'd definitely be getting him in this week. How did Lindsay Smith go? 61. So he's plugging in. He's doing consistent work. If you've got him, hold him. Boy, does the Cowboys left edge look good. I think after the bye, you're really, really just honing in and looking at even Talagi, Purdue, Drinkwater. That's going to be your biggest ones, I think, from there. With no Cotter, they do well as well, which is good to see. But the left side, pardon me, of Cowboys is just where it's all happening, which is really good to see. Nothing really much else to speak. I mean, Alamotti, 49, Papali, 55. Nothing crazy. Laurie, 67. So yeah, nothing crazy there. Cole, 21. If you had him, unfortunate, I wouldn't have really got him in, but you did, and that's you paid the price. Rabbitohs, Roosters, 20-14. Somehow the Rabbits win this game. Really, really, really interesting. Now, one of my possible plays this week is going Watson up, Bam down, Wong in. Is this reacting too much to this massive 119 score? Possibly. I didn't go the white trade last week, but boy, oh boy, Wong was playing outstanding this game. Tedesco with 101, which is beautiful. That is going to be the spark that kind of brings the break even back to a point where you start considering Tedesco. Their draw is like on and off good. I'll just show you quickly their draw for the Roosters. Bing, 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 bing. So they are playing the Broncos away, Panthers, St. George, Dolphins. You could look at after the Broncos-Panthers period, so in round 8, going St. George, Dolphins, or just plugging him in now and going for it and waiting until the bye. It's very hard, though. After round 14, they go Newcastle, North Queensland bye, West Tigers, St. George Sharks. That's when like Sam Walker, I think, will be back. That's when a lot of things could happen. I don't know if you pull the plug on Tedesco. Is he going to be the origin fullback? Most probably it's Edwards again as well, which leans in your favor. But yeah, I would. It's a big risk at the moment. So sit tight on that, I think. But going back to Billy Smith, that's really good to see. A 76, had a great game. Crichton, 70. I wouldn't say he's doing so much that you have to get him in yet. Smith, Sandon Smith, 65. Really, really good game. The first try, line break, fend off was really, really strong. It honestly was the difference between him and Mam, because if he didn't get that first play, he's most probably due like a 35, so they're going very similar. But he did, and that's the difference. White, who I didn't go because I kind of feel like he's plateaued, and he gets a 55. It's okay. It's still good, but nothing crazy. What is his actual break even now? 38. So he's still making money. He's at 5. He's gone up 183,000. So that is a great, great start. And Latrell Mitchell will speak about 51, kind of solid. I think he's going to absolutely carve up the Cowboys this weekend in some way. But with the injuries to the halves, if Cody Walker and Humphries doesn't play, I expect Cowboys to get up this game. So maybe don't go into him yet. And yeah, Cody Walker's just been really, really kind of under par, disappointing. Yeah, I wouldn't look much into that. Hubner is really good. If you don't have Hubner, look at getting him in because he's just a great, great workhorse. Let's go to the next game. So the Rabbitohs go up 20-14 in that one. Eels versus Dragons. Lomax versus Gutho in this one, and Lomax gets the last laugh, but Gutho gets the most Supercoach points in this one, followed by Iongi. It was the battle of the fullbacks too. Iongi 107, who I did reserve. Very, very happy with that. Gutherson with 130, which is absolutely huge. Dylan Brown with 93. Is he a possible replacement now for someone like Hines? It is a valid option. If we look at Parramatta right now, though, the problem is I think they're coming into a bye soon. So they had St. George. They've got Canberra, West Tigers, bye, Sharks, Dolphin, Newcastle, Manly. So what you could look at doing here is getting him in for the Canberra, West Tigers, Sharks, Dolphins, Newcastle, and then swinging him around Manly, or literally just holding him. So it's a very interesting play here. Where do you think that having Dylan Brown is just completely more value than Hines? And it's a valid question. It is a very valid question, because when you watch Hines, he doesn't really. He doesn't really look like he's doing enough. Nothing much else. Lomax 70. It's weird because these premium CTWs like Lomax and Holmes are just like tinkering on where they should be, their price. So like nothing crazy. Like you're not looking. Tupolotu gets 75, which is really nice. He's got an 89 break even, so you don't have to look at that. Are you happy? Wow, Couchman goes. Jeez, I didn't realize Couchman got 74. I can't remember if a try was in that, but that's good to see, because I've said keep a watch on him. Egan gets 52, negative 38 break even coming into the Gold Coast Titans. That is a big watch there. He's a really great, strong player. Just have to look at his minutes. For St. George, they come into versing the Titans, then Manly, Sydney, West Tigers, New Zealand Broncos. So that's very interesting there as well. He's just a very strong player. Sort of gives me, is it James Graham vibes? I think it was. So yeah, maybe without the biting, but yeah, that would be a good look at. Nothing much else here. If you went Riley Smith, the Eels hooker, boy, oh boy, you're not very happy with that. Hopgood has just been way under par this season. If you didn't get off that immediately. Nothing really much else here. Guyman comes back, but only for a 25, so happy I got rid of him. Ilias is a joke. If I'm another team that's lacking a hooker, I'm going for Jacob Little. If I'm another team that's going for needs to get a hooker, I'm trying to pay big money for Paddy or Little. And I don't know if that's possible. I'm just putting that out there. But yeah, that's it for this game. Eels go up in a clincher in Golden Point 23-22. Let's move to the Titans versus the Dolphins. Most probably the biggest upset of the round, in my opinion. Dolphins just absolutely come out and say, hold my beer. You think we're bad. We're actually not. If you were a Jaden Campbell owner, you were treading. You were just thinking, this is the worst trade I have ever done in my life. And that was me. Brimson with the 58. Tino, I think, got sin bin this game and still gets a 67. This guy's an absolute workhorse. If you don't have Tino, now that he cops the one match ban, you're fine. Wait for that, then maybe plug him back in. Jermaine Osako with 114 gets the late try, which is beautiful. Big game from him. JMK 78, Safidi 98. Hammer back to his ways. This was just Dolphins clinic. Herbie Farnworth 55, feeling very, very under par there. Nothing really much to talk about there. Fafita's been really weird. I think he had 5 runs, but had 30-something tackles, 32 tackles, 35 tackles. Nothing much else going on that's a really, really under par game for Fermor. If you went Bo Fermor for a 28, you're not really liking that. Bostock with a 19 in a game where it's 36 points. Did he get injured? I'm not sure, so correct me if I'm wrong on that one. Let's go to the next game, the Broncos versus the Tigers. If you are a Reece Walsh owner, you are still worried. Boy, in a 46-point game, for Reece Walsh to get 66 Supercoach points and Xavier Willison to be the highest Supercoach earner in points this week is really, really weird. Brisbane are just, if it's not Arthurs or Shibasaki, you're worried. Now, if you sold Arthurs, you're not feeling bad. And if you held Arthurs, you're not feeling bad. He gets the 60. I think he's break even this week. Let's have a look at that. Let's just not have a guess. Is he still at 59? So he's just tinkering. Do you hold Arthurs again? Broncos now are versing Sydney Roosters, New Zealand Bulldogs, Panthers. So you could look at maybe leaving him after New Zealand. New Zealand is away. They are a different team at home. The Roosters, you just kind of don't know what to expect from the Roosters, but they are versing Sydney Roosters at home. Maybe you could hold on to Arthurs for one more week. Completely up to you. I think it's dependent on how your team is and where the errors are. For me, my CTW is really good for cash gen at the moment, so I'm not really worried about that too much. But I'll see and look at things about what I can get. The only big thing for me is, would you rather trade Garrick over Arthurs? Most probably, because you're going to get more cash and go up to somewhere better. So you could look into that. For the Tigers, Stafford Toa gets 94. May gets 69. Galvin gets 59, who I didn't even reserve this game because I just thought they were going to get absolutely pumped. And the way Tigers started was really, really surprising and refreshing. They just have these lapses, the Tigers, where they go into being like a 40, 50-minute team, and then all of a sudden they turn back to the old Tigers. And that's a habit I think they need to get out of. I did get rid of Dewey. I just think still I'm happy with the decision. 62 break even, coming into a harder draw for memory. So they've got, no, actually they don't. Newcastle away, Para, Sharks, St. George, Melbourne. So not as bad, but I just think I'm just kind of done with Dewey and I want to start getting these premiums in as quickly as possible. Maybe that's a bad play by me. We'll have to wait and see. Buller with the 59 and Seyfarth, if you've held on to him, you most probably keep him for Knights. He's got a 46 break even, so that's fine. Nothing really bad there. Goz gets a 20, which hurts if you do have him. What's his break even now? 16, so that's still fine, but his numbers are getting lower, so watch out for that. Hetherington gets a 56, nice to see. Reynolds 57, came off hamstring tightness. Also the Reynolds thing, as soon as I saw him, when you have a hamstring injury and you're an injury-prone player, when you score a try, please don't do the celebration when you kick the ball as hard as you can and stretch your hammy as fast as possible. Like, surely someone just goes to him and just says, look, if you score a try, put your hands up in the air, clap, but stop stretching your hammy. It's just really stupid, to be honest with you. But yeah, is what it is. Nothing else there. Piakura, yeah. Get off him if you've got him. I don't know why you'd still have him. Wow, here it is. Sea Eagles versus Storm. You thought this was going to be the grudge match. Well, it is, but damn. Did Storm come out and say we are the best team in the comp? Yes, they did. Cooler with a huge 131 Supercoach points in a game where they let 48 points go down the throat. And Anderson, 133. If you are looking for a play now, Anderson with the Storm bye, I think is very, very valid. I think you just have to look at when Will Warbrick is due back, but him in that wing spot looks very, very good. If Warbrick has 2 to 3 weeks until he's back, I'm not really sure. Maybe I'll just check that up quickly, but this could be a Warbrick Melbourne Storm update injury. This could be a very big play for you. And I think maybe some people will go this way. Where's Anderson and why is it not here? I'll have to look that up for you while we go on to some more thing. Oh, why am I typing Anderson in? It's Warbrick. Is he not injured? Oh, here we go. Concussion round 6. Oh, that. Okay, so we got a concussion protocol. Can you still go Grant Anderson? Maybe. Look into that as you may. Are people trading in for Anderson? No, people are trading in for Kant at the moment. We'll talk about that a bit later, though. All right. So Hughes with a 93, Katoa with a 95. Don't worry about the Stefano too much. Anderson with 133. Munster with a 93 as well. Okay, so this is where it really gets interesting. the Storm draw is absolutely absurd. If you want to load up on Storm players, this is the time to do it. All right. So they've just versed Manly away, absolutely dominated. They're now versing New Zealand at home, Dolphins away, Souths, Canberra, West Tigers, and let me just say this again. New Zealand at home, I've lost them. Dolphins away, Souths at home, Canberra at home, West Tigers at home. 3 home games in a row, then Sharks away into a bye, into Gold Coast away, North Queensland by Souths, Sharks, North Queensland, Newcastle. That draw is absurd. If you want to boost for 3 Melbourne players this week, do it. Do not be afraid. Pull the trigger. The only thing is the injury update news. That's all you have to worry about. I think a lot of people are going to be doing, it's here. It's here. Let's talk about that later. But yeah, that's interesting. Nothing really much there. Hopewadi 78, nice to see. Olakwatu gets the nice line break and try assist at the end to give him an 86, which is great to see if you're an owner and held for him. Garrick with the 53 doesn't get this weird no try at the end, but so close. If he did get that, it would have been so good for owners, but it is how the cookie crumbled. Cherry Evans 65, that's fine. I expect these numbers to sort of go down in their next games. So Manly coming up, guys. Manly coming up. They've just versed Melbourne. They go Sharks, St. George, Penrith bye. So it gets really rough into the bye. So maybe look at doing some move-ons there. Nothing really much else to talk about here. Maybe for Melbourne, Coates gets a 25. Unfortunate. Wishart 14 off the bench. Pappenhausen 68. So if you did have Pap, maybe you expected a bit more, but they did bring him off. 73 break even. So it doesn't hurt you too much in terms of if you do want to get him this week, which is good if you're a non-owner. And last game, 20-0. The Bulldogs go 2-0 at halftime. Knights defending really well, and then it kind of crumbled. Knights attack just look really bad away. They've always been just horrible away. It feels like, when you're coming against the Bulldogs, this was a game that they could maybe have put up a fight and really said, let's score some points, maybe 10, 12 points, and really, if it was 20-12, I would have been impressed, but 20-0 is really, really horrible to see. If you're a Ponga owner, your biggest dilemma is now with a 156 break even. Do you hold him? It's very, very tough. The thing is, they play at McDonald's Stadium. They come against the West Tigers this week, who leak points. So do you hold that and just pray? They go West Tigers, Sharks, New Zealand away, South, Gold Coast, Para. So there are points up for grabs there. For grabs there. I wonder when Dylan Lucas is due back, because that's someone who you could plug in at this time and he could do absolute work. But yeah, nothing crazy there from Ponga. You're a bit upset with that. Is it what you expect? Most probably, but when you watch him play, sometimes you just think he wants to move to another team and he's overplaying at the Knights. That's the type of vibe I get. Marzu with a 42, you're happy with that, I guess, in this type of game, especially with what the scoreboard shows. Can't top traded in 62 2RF, someone who you could easily plug in. Marnie with 89, Preston with 70, so he's doing God's work there, just plugging away. Really good pick if you have him. With the Bulldogs draw, they now have Newcastle into bye, so you can wait one round, then they go South, Broncos, Gold Coast, Canberra, but that's 3 away games, Broncos, Gold Coast, and Canberra, so just watch out for that there as well, but they are a good team in general. And I would say nothing else. Kraz with a 61, kind of impressive for someone who just came back first time. That's good to see. I don't think he's a must-have, so don't worry about that. Anything else from the Knights? Not really. Anything else from the Bulldogs? Man, great try, but nothing crazy there. Tracy with a 36, not something you're really going for. And Cherry or Zeri with a 52, nice to see, but nothing crazy there. So that is your round 5 recap. what can you do here now? So let's just go into quickly. Let's talk about the traded in and traded out at the moment at what I'm looking at. So a lot of people now just pulling the plug on Jesse Arthurs, which is understandable. The problem is they go left a lot and he can just get these gimme tries. So it's a bit of a risk here. What Roosters are we going to see? That's the big call, but it is our Broncos home game. Ponga traded out. That's pretty crazy. But nothing. It's only 38 trades. A lot of people aren't. I mean, it's just updating, right? Yeah. Okay. Cool. Gula, people still dropping Gula out. I feel like if you've held him, why wouldn't you? Are they doing that for another reason? I think what you could do is go Gula out, get Kant in, swing Horsburgh up. That could be a nice play. But you're looking at people now pulling the plug on Hines, Ponga, Garrick, which is understandable because you're going across to people like Hughes, Munster, Pappenhausen. Which is you can't like really argue why you wouldn't do that. You know what I'm saying? So nothing wrong with that. Let me just find it here. I do have some questions here from the guys. Sorry, I'm reading this off my phone, but we're going to start with, can you have Munster and Hughes? And the answer is definitely yes. Now, if you have a team like having, for me example, let's just show you quickly. Oh, we were on my team. I'm an absolute moron. So I have Cleary and Hines. Now, what you can do, if you are really off Ponga and you wanted to get rid of Ponga, you can trade out Ponga. You can swing Campbell down. And then you don't even have to do that. They can just swap positions. But you can just have an open flex if you want. Or I can go like the route of getting Hughes in, bringing Campbell down, and doing this double play because this is where the flex is so useful here. Do you go Ponga and Hines out for Jerome, Hughes, Munster, Pap, and try and facilitate it some way? Boy, oh boy, is that risky. It could be something you regret. You do have someone like Tedesco with a 75 break even as well, currently costing 840,000. Is this where his basement is, or will he drop a bit more? It's pretty much close to it. I would be really keeping your tabs on him. The problem is their draw. But in terms of Jerome, Hughes, and Munster, can you get both? 100% you can. It's just pending with the injury. And obviously not with Munster, but Hughes. I don't think anything bad was there. And Pap just said to be a corky, but just keep monitoring that just in case. Next question. That question was from, these two questions are from James, but he said, is Garrick a sell with his jaw getting tougher, no turbo, and massive break even? I think the no turbo isn't a huge impact for them because the ball does seem to find their side a lot more when Turbo is out, because Turbo likes to go left a lot more. I don't think that's the issue. I think the issue is the draw. Manly now coming into Sharks away, who just lost, so they're going to be very, very fired up, and I expect Sharks to win this game. Then into St. George, which is nice, but then you've got Penrith at Penrith's home, into a bye, back into Sharks at home. Now, what you could look at doing here is I think you're looking at around the round 11 mark, maybe plugging them back in here for the Cowboys, Para, Broncos, Newcastle, Gold Coast. That's what you're looking at doing. I do think this is the time where we're looking at Garrick being a trade. Yes, I think you're going to get a lot of funds from him. He's currently at Ruben Garrick, 806,400 with 134 break even. I think out of all the trades out, he is your trade out at the moment because you're getting that lump sum of cash. You can basically go to anyone you want and live the dream. Next one is, are we done with the Knights? I would say no, just based off their draw. This one's coming in from Adam. Adam says, are the Knights done? In a sense, against the Bulldogs, yes, but they do come against the West Tigers at their home. Expect a bit of a bounce back here. I expect Marju, Ponga. I don't know when Dylan Lucas is returning, but you could easily looking at getting Dylan Lucas. Going from Garrick to Lucas is very viable here, guys. If that's a play you want to make and you don't have Lucas, that guy is one of the base beasts in the competition. Do that. That is completely fine. I'm not sure when he's back though, so just check into that. But I don't think you have to sell them. I get Ponga has a huge break even. I completely understand that. Now the problem is, this is the problem. If you're like me and you have Iongi, which is not a problem in itself, but he has a negative 19, so I can't move him. Is someone like Pappenhausen a must-have over Ponga? That's what the big issue is. We can only fit so many fullbacks in, and you can't move on Iongi. He's going to make too much cash. Who is more of a priority? You'd be leaning to Pap, but they both have kicks. The problem is, after this West Tigers game, are we reading into one game too much? So they go West Tigers into Sharks, into New Zealand away, into Souths away, into Gold Coast. What Knights team are we going to find? I think trading Ponga holds validity if you're going to Pappenhausen, but I wouldn't be going like Ponga to Teddy. I wouldn't be doing these sideways trades. Look, you could try and go Ponga to Iongi and get cash and try and do something there, but for now, I think Knights are a hold. I don't know who else you have in your Knights team. But if you're talking Lucas, if you're talking Marzu, if you're talking Ponga, I think these are all holds, especially Fletcher Sharp. I expect them to score points against the Tigers game. I expect both teams to be like 18 plus points and go from there. A question: If I captain Gartho 2 weeks in a row, am I a Chad? No, that just makes you a great fantasy player. That comes in from Paddy. But yeah, also Adam says, I think Garrick to Karaz looks promising. I think more so, you could even look at Garrick to Grant Anderson. You could look at Garrick to, let's have a look here. I'm just going to look for you right now. How about that? I'll give you something off the bat. Garrick to... Wouldn't do that. Can't do that. Not doing that. It's not bad, actually. Garrick to Kraz. I don't know if it's a bit too sideways. But yeah, at the moment, there's nothing much you can do. What's Anderson's break even again? Negative 22. Pretty crazy. I know it's just one big score, but still, it is what it is, right? It's if you haven't gone Jenkins, just go Garrick to Jenkins. I don't know why you wouldn't have gone Jenkins, but if you haven't, that's definitely a play. You can still look at possibly McLean, even though what he's done was a bit average. Nothing really else at the moment in terms of CT dubs. So yeah, you can do that. That is perfectly fine. Just looking here, I think there's no more questions, so that's completely fine. And that is your round 5 recap. Once again, thanks for supporting the channel. I hope you enjoyed the recap, guys. We try to keep it under 40 minutes here. Thanks for watching. If you have any other questions, chuck them in the comments below. Let me know what your trades are. Everything. Would love to help out if you do want that. And if not, just good luck in your week. Don't stress too much. And I am going to be releasing a pods video this week because I think it's getting into the time where pods are really going to make a difference. And it's very hard to find a good pod at the moment in fantasy. And yeah, just be out, subscribe. Thanks for the support. See you soon. Take care and good luck in your week of footy.